Yo ho ho, welcome back to the channel, boys and girls. In today's video we are taking a look at my VeloBuild VB177 frame set slash bike, because unfortunately it is time to say goodbye to this bike. So in this video, guys, we're going to go over some of the specs, the details on this bike, because this bike actually looks a little bit different than the last time you saw it about a year and a half ago. And then I'm also going to give you my final thoughts on how I feel about this frame set. So without further ado, let's begin. Okay guys, so as I mentioned in the introduction of this video, we are taking a look at my VeloBuild 177 frame set. Unfortunately, it is time to say goodbye to this frame, but the good news is it is going to a happy home. So we have a buddy here locally here in Chicago who is making the move from rim brake to disc brake. And so I told him that I would build him up this frame set. Essentially, it's basically a brand new bike. So we're gonna go over some of the specs on this bike and let you know what has changed since the last time you've seen this bike. Okay, so first off, let's talk about the frame itself. This is the VeloBuild 177 frame set. This is advertised as their super light slash sort of climbing frame set. This actually is one of the lightest frames that I've ever tested on my channel. I believe it comes in at about 1,000 grams, which is pretty good considering the price point of this frame. I believe it's either like $500 or $600. And in my opinion, the 177 is a stiffer, more agile, and more responsive frame than the 168 frame set. And I'm hoping that VeloBuild's brand new frame, which I believe is the 268, sort of marries both the sort of geometry of the 168 while offering similar characteristics as the 177. So the frame we have here is a size 54, but if you look at the geometry chart, it basically comes out to be closer to a size 56 as far as the frame goes. And I have really enjoyed this frame over the years, just unfortunately because I'm constantly testing out new bikes and new frames, that it just basically was time to move on from this frame. So moving on to the wheels, these are the first generation of the Winspace Hyper wheels. These are the 65 millimeter variants. We have 65 millimeters in the front, 65 in the rear. Internal width is 19 millimeters, external is 21, and so we are rocking 25C Continental GP 5000s in the all black. These were my first set of proper aero wheels. I really have enjoyed these wheels. Of course, you get ceramic bearings, you get carbon spokes, all that good stuff. I really enjoy these wheels a lot. But you know, same thing with the frame set. I'm constantly testing out new wheels, and so these ones have just been unfortunately collecting dust in my box. And so for my particular buddy, he wanted to go with sort of a light frame set, but with some aero wheels, because here in Chicago, as I've constantly mentioned on this channel, it's pancake flat. So I think that with just the agility of this frame set paired with these wheels, this is going to be a phenomenal bike to ride, especially if you are on a budget. So the next thing I want to move on to is, as you can see, which is different from the first time you saw this build, is we are rocking a Shimano 105 Di2 12-speed. So initially, when my buddy reached out to me wanting to make the move from rim brake to disc brake, I told him that I said that I would build him up my 177 frame set. I would build it up with a brand new group set as well as my Winspace wheels. And so all in, this is a phenomenal price. The group set you could probably find online for maybe 1,100 bucks before tax and shipping, which is a really good deal. The frame set, of course, is like $500-600 bucks. So you can do the math on, you know, how much everything is going to cost here. So moving on to the group set here. So we have a 52-36 chainring in the front, 172.5 length crank arms. In the back, we have an 11-34 cassette, because that's just what comes with the 105 Di2, of course. Then the railier itself obviously accommodates up to like 36, I believe. And then, of course, we have the levers. Now, some of the differences in the levers from the 105 versus the Ultegra version is these are metal. I believe they're aluminum versus the sort of carbon fiber composite. But as far as the shift quality, everything works exactly the same as the Ultegra version of the Di2 12-speed. I think one of the only differences is you don't have the extra buttons on top of the hoods where you can sort of, you know, make them custom buttons. And indexing the front derailleur is a little bit different, but overall, as far as the snappiness, the consistency in the shifts, it's identical. So in my opinion, if you are on a budget, or if you just don't want to spend a lot of money, or maybe you do some sort of events where you're worried about crashing a lot or just at all, I think that even with the little bit of extra weight versus the Ultegra version, I think that the Shimano 105 version of this group set is definitely the way to go. Now moving to the front of the bike, we have a set of carbon fiber aero bars. As you can see, the width on these is 40 centimeters. Supercast bar tape as well. This is my favorite bar tape on the market. It's super duper grippy. Of course, the end caps match just the overall chameleon bluish purple paint job. It looks absolutely sick. Let's talk about this FSA number 69 routing cable system. So as you guys know, this is one of my favorite ways to build up bikes, especially if you want to have the option and flexibility of swapping out your stems while still being able to route the cables internally. So this whole system, depending on if you can find it on sale or not, might cost you around 30-40 bucks from FSA's website, but it includes the bearings top and bottom. It includes the plastic headset cover, as well as all the races, everything you need, and then basically you're just able to route the cables through the head tube into the frame. So it works really well. And even with these handlebars, I'm also able to route these cables internally in through the handlebars as well. So you have a lot of flexibility here. So this stem is only like 105 millimeters. I believe it's like a -7. So if you want to go with the longer stem or shorter stem, whatever, you don't have to faff around trying to, you know, of course, you know, take out all the cables and do all that. You could basically just swap out the stem itself for whatever size and angle you need, and then you'll be good to go. Now the saddle we are rocking with is my Bontrager Montrose Elite saddle. I've had this saddle for about 3 years now. I really like it. It's 138 millimeters in width, and it gives you a lot of flexibility as far as your position on the bike, which I think can be really useful depending on how you ride. And overall, it's just a very comfortable saddle, and you could probably find these online or on eBay used for probably only like, I don't know, maybe like 70-80 bucks. So pretty good deal. Now just overall aesthetically, I think this bike looks phenomenal. I think the color of the bike looks very good. I think that these wheels paired with this frame set gives it just a really, it's not too aggressive, nor is it too classic of a look, but I think it ends up being very balanced in my opinion. And if you are looking for a frame set that's going to be agile, it's going to be light like I've mentioned, this is definitely the frame to get. I'm hoping that at some point in the future I'm able to get my hands on like I said, VeloBuild's latest 268 frame set, because I think that that is going to basically be a blend of the 177 and the 168 frame set. But if you can't for some reason get your hands on the 268, in my opinion, until I can test it, I believe that the 177 is the best road frame set that VeloBuild has to offer. And just look how good this looks, guys. It just looks crazy, man. Like it's just a pleasure to ride, and I am really gonna miss rocking this frame set. Alrighty, final ride on the VeloBuild 177 frame set. Yeah guys, I'm really gonna miss using this frame. I think it's a tremendous value with what VeloBuild has to offer, but being able to rock this now with a Shimano 105 Di2 12-speed group set mixed with these or paired I should say with these Winspace hyper wheels, match made in heaven. It just feels agile. You get all of the stiffness of the carbon spokes and just the overall wheels itself from Winspace, ceramic bearings of course. And then when you match that with this frame set, the geometry, just the way it sort of handles the riding sensation on the road, that as well as you're using a modern group set, all three of these things combined as an overall system, you're getting a really comparable bike for not a lot of money. If you can find these first generation Winspace hyper wheels on sale, or you know, at a discount online, if you can find the group set on sale, then of course the $500 entry point from VeloBuild on the frame, you're gonna be good to go. It's gonna offer up a lot of performance, and what I mean by performance is if you are having any deficiencies as far as being out on the road, it's not going to be due to not having enough of a bike. This bike is going to be able to handle all the things you're going to need it to, and it's not going to skip a beat. Yeah, just everything is so snappy with this Shimano 105 Di2 12-speed. So at this point, I have now been using Shimano Ultegra Di2 12-speed. I've also been using SRAM Force ETAP as well as SRAM Rival ETAP as well. This is just as snappy, and considering how affordable this is, and I'm using my air quotes in my head at least, no, this is not cheap, but as far as those other variants, the 105 Di2 is a really good buy. You basically just set it and forget it. You don't have to worry about having to charge it every week like I do my SRAM ETAP. You only have to charge it for a couple months. But just the shift qualities and everything, when everything is set up and indexed perfectly, just bang on. It's just clank, 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 ready to go. And especially with this frame set, because this frame is on the lighter side, you really are not going to feel the extra weight with the 105 variant of this group set. And to be quite honest, unless you weigh, say, less than 70 kilograms, weight is probably not going to be a big concern. But overall, guys, as a whole entire system, the way this bike is set up, this bike is going to go to a very, very happy home, and my buddy slash customer, he's going to be extremely happy with how this bike rides out on the road. So that's gonna do it for today's video, guys. Big thank you to VeloBuild. I've been working with them, over the past couple years. This is a fantastic frame, but as always, questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will check you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.